Hey guys, and welcome to Should You Buy It, where all we do is talk a little bit about the game and whether or not we think it's worth the cost.
In this episode, we'll be playing Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, also known as TABS, where you will lead your army of wobbling magical warriors into some of the most comedical battles you'll ever see.
Now, the first question that we always cover in these videos is what stage of development is the game in? And in this case, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is currently in full release and available on PC as well as most consoles for $20. It is also worth mentioning that you can get this through the Epic Games Store if you want to support our channel for free. Just make sure to enter GA1 in the creator code box at checkout if you decide to do that.
So what exactly is the game? Well, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is one of the first games that hit the market with the idea of simulation, physics, and a strategy game all wrapped into one. While there are certainly other games out there nowadays, TABS was one of the first ones to hit the mainstream in this genre. In TABS, you have 9 different campaigns, most of which are either designed to help teach you the game or introduce you to a new faction and their mechanics. I use the term campaign loosely, however, since it doesn't really have any form of unlocks that it rewards you or story in the traditional way. A lot of the campaigns, for instance, were released when new factions were added to the game as a way for players to become familiar with them. Some campaigns are also just challenge-oriented. In these challenges, it focuses more on your skill and knowledge of each unit type and your ability to deploy them properly, rather than just trying to teach you the game or introduce you to new types of units.
Now, TABS does also have a multiplayer mode. The way it works is rather simple, as all you need to do is set up some predetermined settings, such as the amount of money allowed and your unit cap. Then you both create your units and start the battle to see who the better strategist was. This being TABS though, sometimes your units might behave strangely and result in you winning or losing a battle, even if you play the exact same battle and same team setups of the units you had over and over again. You can also do matchmaking with strangers via the quick match mode. However, there is no proper ranking system for this whatsoever, and it's just for fun, so do keep that in mind if that's something you're interested in.
One of the best things about this game though is the fact that no matter how much you strategize, you will only be able to take so much randomness out of it. For example, one way to do this is by taking control of one of your units and using them yourself, but you still won't be able to take control of every single unit at the same time. I like to imagine that even the greatest strategists in real life battles still can't take the randomness of the human element out. This is much of what it felt like was happening each time we clicked the battle button.
Now, it wouldn't be fair of us to make a review on TABS without talking about the mods that it has. TABS has all sorts of mods such as new playable units or new factions. Just to give you a few examples, you might decide to battle Naruto and Sasuke together to see who truly is the most powerful. Then again, you might decide to put 100 battle droids against 5 Vietnam chopper gunners. The idea here is that they want you to be able to use whatever unit you want in your battles, even if it might not be very balanced.
So now let's jump over to the pros and cons section for the video. First up for the pros is that it's always fun to answer the age-old question of who would win in a fight, X or Y. If you have ever wondered who would win in a fight between Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan, well, TABS can totally help you accurately answer that question. Next up for the pros is that the semi-randomness of each battle adds a little bit of surprise and intrigue, and therefore adds a bit of extra depth to the game. Each simulation plays out differently, and therefore provides a unique experience every time you hit that battle button. After that is the large amount of default basic units. All the units included within the game felt fairly well balanced and had units that they countered as well as units that countered them. No build felt unstoppable, but there are definitely some that stood out amongst the rest. Another pro for TABS is that the mods are nearly endless. While there are limitations to the mods available, if you want to see a unit in the game, you can either create it yourself or will more than likely be able to find it within the mod section of the game. Want to see 10 Yodas fight Kylo Ren? Well, there are definitely mods that can make that happen. And lastly for the pros is that there are several maps, each of which can change the way you might play a battle. For an example, you may choose to fight in an icy forest or in a map designed for specific simulations, but either way, there's always a unique battleground for you to fight on.
Now for the cons. The first con today is just the poor optimization that the game currently has. To be fair, if you are playing on a pretty good computer, then you shouldn't have any issues, but if you're playing on a slightly out-of-date system or playing on a console that's rather old, you might find yourself getting some FPS drops whenever you go above about 60 to 100 units. Personally, I could get close to about 200 to 300 before I had issues unless it was something super graphically intense. The final con I have for you today is that the game is still fun, but it also becomes stale rather quickly. This is mostly due to the fact that it really doesn't have any real progression systems for me. I would love to see maybe a campaign that unlocks all the new factions for you or something like that, and I think that's how it was originally when it was in early access, but now that you just have everything immediately unlocked for you, it feels like there's no real reason to go back and do all of them.
So now it's time for the rating for the game, and when we rate games, we want to get 1 hour of enjoyment out of every $1 that we spend on the game. So for this game in particular, in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, we would want to get roughly 20 hours of enjoyment out of the $20 that we spent. And after putting several played hours into this game, we give it 8 out of 10 potatoes.
Tabs was definitely an extremely fun and unique experience for the whole family. For some players, it may even be their favorite game of all time. But if you're anything like us, then you may find that after your first initial 5 to 15 hours or so of gameplay, the intrigue and uniqueness start to wear off and the game begins feeling a little bit stale. I think that the mods for Tabs, however, is where most players that stick with the game will find most of their long-term enjoyment. With all of that being said, Tabs is definitely a fun title at first for everyone, but some of you may find after a while that you will start to lose your interest with the game. And since our goal is to get 1 hour of enjoyment out of each dollar spent on the game, we feel that Tabs is still more than likely worth the cost for most gamers.
Before you guys go, thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for more survival game content. I just want to shout out Jonathan S. and Jim Phillips. Thank you guys so much for being members. We couldn't do this without you, and also a shout out to all of our new subscribers here on screen. Now don't forget to check out all of our links in the description below for things like our music library and Epic Games Creator Code, as these are just ways for you to help support the channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you next time.